Monica Williams was the embodiment of resilience and ambition. A tall, poised African-American woman in her mid-30s, she exuded elegance and confidence. Her journey hadn't been easy, but through grit and determination, she built a luxury beauty brand, Monica Luxe, that catered to women from all walks of life. Monica knew what it meant to be overlooked, and that's why she ensured that every product her brand released spoke to inclusivity, quality, and empowerment. She didn't just sell cosmetics, she sold a message. A message that every woman, regardless of her background, deserved to feel beautiful and valued. Monica Luxe wasn't just another cosmetics store. Located in a chic part of downtown Atlanta, the store's interior reflected Monica's vision. It was a haven for women of all shades, with vibrant, plush seating, walls adorned with affirmations of beauty, and soft lighting that made every customer feel like they were stepping into a world where they were the most important person. Her clientele ranged from high-profile celebrities to everyday women who found solace in knowing they were entering a space that respected and celebrated them. Monica had built a name for herself in the fiercely competitive world of luxury beauty. But beyond the glitz, she was deeply connected to the core values of her brand: inclusivity, diversity, and empowerment. She didn't just want to cater to the elite. She wanted every woman who walked through her doors to feel seen, appreciated, and valued. Monica's brand was her pride, a direct reflection of her commitment to creating a world where beauty transcended race, class, or status. Little did she know, the challenges she faced in building the brand were nothing compared to the battle that was about to take place within her own team. At the heart of her mission was trust in her team. Each employee was handpicked by Monica herself, not just for their qualifications, but for their alignment with her values. As the brand expanded, it became more challenging to maintain that personal touch with every hire, but Monica believed that every person who worked for her needed to embody the same principles of respect, kindness, and professionalism. Monica Luxe's success didn't happen overnight. Monica had poured every ounce of her energy into growing the brand, knowing that the cosmetics industry wasn't particularly welcoming to Black women, especially not in the luxury sector. But Monica's vision was clear. She wasn't just selling makeup, she was selling empowerment. Her products, crafted with the finest ingredients, were tailored to suit every skin tone, and the message was clear. Beauty wasn't defined by societal standards, but by individual confidence and self-expression. The brand's reputation for inclusivity and quality had skyrocketed. Monica Luxe had become synonymous with elegance and empowerment, attracting a diverse clientele that ranged from high-profile socialites to young women looking for beauty products that resonated with them on a deeper level. Monica often received letters and emails from customers, thanking her for creating a space where they felt truly seen. Women of color, in particular, praised the brand for offering shades and products that finally addressed their unique needs, something that had been long neglected by mainstream brands. The store itself had become more than just a retail space. It was a community hub. Monica held regular events where women from all backgrounds could come together, share their stories, and connect over their shared love of beauty and self-expression. She took pride in curating an environment that was welcoming to everyone, where no one ever felt like they didn't belong. For Monica, this wasn't just good business, it was personal. Her team was central to this mission. Each employee was trained not just in the technical aspects of the job, but also in the ethos of Monica Luxe. Every interaction with a customer was supposed to leave them feeling valued and uplifted. Monica led by example, always treating her employees with respect and expecting the same in return. She often said, "We're not just selling products, we're selling a feeling, a sense of belonging." But as her company grew, it became harder to ensure that every new hire fully embraced these values, and this would soon become painfully evident. Despite her best efforts, Monica had begun to hear whispers of tension within her team, particularly concerning one employee. These whispers would soon escalate into a situation that would test everything Monica had worked so hard to build. Unbeknownst to her, a storm was brewing right under her nose, one that would force her to confront the ugly reality of prejudice within her own company. As Monica Luxe continued to expand, Monica knew she needed to bring in new talent to support the growing demands of her brand. That's when Heather came into the picture. On paper, Heather seemed like the perfect addition to the team. A white woman in her late 20s, Heather had a polished resume with experience in high-end beauty boutiques and a warm, engaging demeanor during the interview. Monica felt a certain confidence in her, believing Heather's experience would add value to the team and further enhance the customer experience. During her first few weeks, Heather appeared to fit in seamlessly. She was friendly with the customers, seemed knowledgeable about the products, and was proactive in assisting clients. She had a particular charm that seemed to resonate with many of the upscale clients who frequented the store. Monica had even overheard a few positive comments from customers about Heather's attentiveness. From all appearances, Heather was a professional addition to the team, and Monica initially had no reason to doubt her suitability. However, as time passed, subtle issues began to emerge, though they weren't immediately apparent to Monica. Some employees, particularly the women of color on the team, started to voice concerns to one another in hushed tones. They noticed that Heather's friendliness was not as universal as it had initially seemed. She seemed to reserve her warmest customer service for white clients, while her interactions with black and brown customers were noticeably colder. A few employees mentioned overhearing Heather making offhand comments about certain clients, comments that carried a tinge of bias that was hard to dismiss. One day, Janice, a longtime employee who had been with Monica since the beginning, pulled her aside. "Monica," she began cautiously, "I've noticed something that's been bothering me. I didn't want to say anything at first, but I think Heather's treating some of our black customers differently. I've seen it a few times now. She's short with them, almost dismissive. And honestly, some of the other girls are starting to talk about it too." Monica's initial reaction was one of disbelief. She trusted Janice, but the idea that someone in her store, someone she had personally hired, could be acting this way was hard to swallow. "Are you sure?" Monica asked, her brow furrowing. "I mean, Heather seemed so professional when we hired her." "I know," Janice said, shifting uncomfortably, "but I've seen it happen a couple of times now, and I've heard some customers mention feeling uncomfortable when she's around." Monica thanked Janice for bringing it to her attention, but felt conflicted. Could it really be true? She decided to keep a closer eye on Heather herself, not wanting to jump to conclusions without clear evidence. But what she soon discovered would leave her deeply disturbed and force her to take action against something she had worked so hard to keep out of her business. As the days passed, Monica became increasingly observant of Heather's behavior. At first glance, Heather continued to appear professional, always polite to Monica and the higher-paying white clientele. But it didn't take long for Monica to begin noticing what Janice had mentioned. Small, yet unmistakable signs that Heather was treating black customers differently. It started subtly. Monica watched one afternoon as a black woman entered the store. The woman, dressed elegantly and clearly a regular customer, approached the counter where Heather stood. Rather than greeting her with the warm smile that she offered to other clients, Heather barely looked up, her voice flat as she said, "Can I help you with something?" The interaction felt distant and cold compared to the friendliness she had shown moments earlier to another, white client. Monica brushed it off at first, convincing herself that maybe Heather was just having a bad day. But then it happened again. This time, Monica watched as Heather openly ignored a younger black woman who stood patiently waiting at the counter. Instead of assisting her, Heather turned her attention to another customer, a white woman who had just walked in, offering her a bright smile and an eager, "Welcome to Monica Luxe. What can I help you find today?" The scene left Monica with a sinking feeling in her stomach. She felt the knot of disbelief and frustration tightening, but she wasn't ready to confront Heather just yet. She needed more concrete proof. These subtle behaviors could be brushed off as mere coincidence or misinterpretation. She knew the gravity of the situation. Accusing someone of racism without solid evidence could backfire, both legally and emotionally. Monica had built her brand on fairness, and she needed to approach this carefully. Over the next few weeks, Monica discreetly gathered more information. She spoke to her trusted employees, including Janice, who had continued to observe Heather's actions. The reports were consistent. Heather was noticeably colder and less patient with black clients. While white customers were greeted with enthusiasm and attention, black customers were often met with indifference, rushed service, or sometimes subtle but clear disrespect. One employee even recounted hearing Heather mumble under her breath after a black woman had left the store, She wasn't going to buy anything anyway. Monica's heart sank. This was more than a minor issue. This was blatant discrimination happening in her store, the very space she had created to be a haven of inclusivity and empowerment for women of all colors. It was an affront to everything she stood for, everything her brand represented. The sense of betrayal burned deeply within her. But Monica knew she couldn't just rely on secondhand reports and subtle observations. She needed to witness it herself. There was no other way. She had to see firsthand how Heather interacted with her black customers, with no room for misinterpretation. And so, she made a decision that would change everything. She would go undercover, posing as a regular customer, and experience it for herself. Monica knew this wouldn't be easy. She was a recognizable face in her own store, so she needed to ensure her disguise was convincing enough to blend in. More importantly, she needed to brace herself for what she might see. It was one thing to hear about racism secondhand, but to witness it in her own establishment? That would be a different kind of pain altogether. The decision weighed heavily on Monica. She spent several sleepless nights wrestling with her emotions, disbelief, anger, sadness. How could this be happening in her store? A place she had carefully curated to make every woman, especially women of color, feel seen and valued. But after hearing the consistent reports and witnessing enough of Heather's subtle dismissals, Monica knew she needed undeniable proof before taking action. The only way to get that proof was to experience Heather's behavior firsthand. One evening, after everyone had left the store, Monica stayed behind, carefully planning her disguise. She had to ensure Heather wouldn't recognize her. Gone was her usual sleek, professional appearance. Instead, Monica opted for a casual look, something she imagined a first-time customer might wear. She donned an oversized hoodie, loose jeans, and large sunglasses. She also added a baseball cap to further conceal her face. The transformation was striking. She barely recognized herself in the mirror. Her typical aura of confidence and elegance was masked by the outfit, making her blend into the background, which was exactly what she needed. When she arrived at the store the next morning, her heart was pounding. She felt a mix of dread and determination as she entered, hoping that what she had heard and seen was somehow a misunderstanding. The store was busy, as it often was on a Saturday morning. Monica slipped in unnoticed, keeping her head down and avoiding eye contact with any of her employees. She wandered around the aisles for a while, picking up a few products, before finally making her way to the counter, where Heather stood. As she approached, Heather barely acknowledged her presence. The difference in treatment was stark and immediate. Monica had seen Heather interact with white customers just moments before, offering them a warm smile and enthusiastic recommendations. But when Monica reached the counter, Heather's demeanor shifted. Her expression was indifferent, her posture slouched, and her tone clipped. "Do you need something?" Heather asked, barely glancing at Monica as she continued to organize items behind the counter. Monica felt a wave of discomfort. It was subtle, but it was there. The same dismissiveness Janice and other employees had described. She pushed forward, determined to test the waters further. "Yeah, I'm looking for a foundation," Monica said, keeping her voice casual. "I've got darker skin, and I'm having trouble finding the right shade." Heather sighed, barely concealing her impatience. She grabbed a random bottle from the shelf without even looking at Monica's skin tone. "This should work for you," she said, her voice flat. Monica looked at the bottle. The shade wasn't even close to matching her complexion. Her frustration bubbled up, but she held it down, not wanting to reveal herself just yet. "Are you sure this is the right one? It looks a little light." Heather rolled her eyes and snapped, "It's what we have. If it doesn't work, you can go somewhere else." There it was, the blatant disregard, the dismissive tone, the lack of care, the open disrespect. It wasn't subtle anymore. It was right in front of her. Monica felt her heart racing, not just out of anger, but out of sadness. This was her store, her brand, and yet here was someone treating customers who looked like her, with contempt. Monica felt a lump forming in her throat, but she wasn't done. She stepped back, watching as Heather warmly greeted another customer, a white woman who had just entered. Heather's smile returned, her body language shifted, and she became animated, recommending products with enthusiasm and care. The contrast was painful to watch. Satisfied that she had seen enough, Monica decided it was time to end this. She took a deep breath, walked back up to Heather, and pulled off her sunglasses and hat. Heather's face went pale as she realized who was standing in front of her. "Monica?" she stammered, her tone suddenly full of respect and fear. "Yes, Heather. It's me," Monica said, her voice steady, though her emotions churned inside. "We need to talk. Now." As Heather stood frozen in front of Monica, the weight of her actions seemed to hit her all at once. The color drained from her face as she stuttered, I didn't realize it was you." Monica's heart raced, but she maintained her composure. Her emotions churned beneath the surface, but years of running a successful business had taught her how to keep control in tense situations. She took a slow breath, her eyes locked on Heather. "That's exactly the problem, Heather. You didn't realize it was me, but it doesn't matter who I am. It's how you treated someone you didn't think was important." Monica's words hung in the air, heavy and unrelenting. The once vibrant atmosphere of the store felt stifling as Monica signaled for Heather to follow her to the back office. Heather, visibly shaken, obeyed without saying a word. Employees and customers alike exchanged glances, sensing that something serious was unfolding, but no one dared to interrupt. Monica led Heather through the hallway, past shelves stocked with the products that had built her empire, and into the office where she had made countless business decisions. But this confrontation felt more personal than anything she had ever experienced. Once they were inside the office, Monica closed the door and turned to face Heather. Her mind raced with thoughts of all the women, like her, who had likely experienced this same dismissive, prejudiced treatment from Heather, but Monica was careful not to let her emotions spill over just yet. This needed to be handled calmly and professionally, despite the fury simmering inside her. "Sit down," Monica instructed. Heather sank into the chair, her posture shrinking under the weight of what she knew was coming. Monica stood in front of her, crossing her arms as she began. "I built this company with a clear mission in mind, Heather. I wanted to create a space where every woman, no matter her skin color, background, or economic status, could feel valued, respected, and empowered. And you?" Monica's voice sharpened. "You've undermined everything I've worked for." Heather opened her mouth to protest, but Monica held up a hand to stop her. "No, you don't get to explain this away. I've watched you. I've heard from my team. You treat our black customers differently, and it's disgusting." Heather's eyes widened, her mouth dry as she tried to form a defense. "I didn't mean to. I was just—" Monica's patience snapped. "Didn't mean to? You didn't mean to be rude? To dismiss people who look like me, like my friends, my family? You didn't mean to offer poor service because you assumed a customer wasn't important enough?" "No, Heather. I've seen enough. You knew exactly what you were doing." Tears welled in Heather's eyes as she tried to backtrack. "Monica, please. I didn't realize it was coming across that way. I swear, I'm not racist. I was just having a bad day. I don't." Monica's voice was firm, her anger now fully showing. "This isn't about a bad day. This is about the attitude you've shown day after day, the way you've treated black women like they're less deserving of respect and care. I watched you today. You had no problem ignoring me when you thought I was just another black customer, but as soon as you recognized me as your boss, your entire attitude changed." Heather sat in stunned silence, realizing there was no escape from what was happening. Monica continued, her voice filled with the passion and hurt she had bottled up. "This brand represents something bigger than just selling beauty products. It represents inclusion, empowerment, and a safe space for every woman who walks through those doors. And your actions have disrespected not only our customers, but the core values of this company." There was a long silence as Heather sat, head lowered, the weight of her actions finally hitting her. But for Monica, the damage had been done. There was no room for someone like Heather in her company, no matter how long she had been there or how skilled she was at her job. Finally, Monica stood up straighter, her decision clear. "You've left me no choice, Heather. You're fired. Effective immediately." Heather's tearful pleas followed. "Please, Monica. I need this job. I promise I'll change. I didn't mean to offend anyone. I'm not a racist, I swear." But Monica remained unmoved. This isn't something you can just apologize away. You violated the trust of this company, of our customers. I won't tolerate it. Pack your things and leave the store now. Heather, sobbing, slowly stood and left the office, knowing she had no defense left. Monica watched her go, her heart heavy. It wasn't just anger that filled her. It was disappointment, exhaustion from realizing that the very thing she had worked so hard to prevent had crept into her business. But she knew that this was only the beginning of the actions she needed to take to restore the trust of her customers and protect the values she had built her brand on. As Heather left the office, Monica felt a heavy weight lift off her chest, but it was soon replaced by a sense of duty. She knew that simply firing Heather wouldn't be enough. The damage had been done. Monica Lux's reputation was built on inclusivity and empowerment, and the idea that even one customer had felt dismissed or disrespected was deeply painful to her. Now, she had to take action to ensure this would never happen again, not in her store. Monica stepped out of the office, her expression composed but her mind racing. Her employees, who had sensed the gravity of the situation, glanced at her nervously. She knew she had to address them, to make sure everyone understood not just what had happened, but why it was completely unacceptable. As the team gathered, Monica spoke firmly, but with the vulnerability of someone who had just confronted a painful truth. "I need to talk to all of you," Monica began, looking around at the faces of her staff, some of whom had been with her since the beginning, others who had joined more recently. What just happened with Heather wasn't just about poor customer service. It was about something much bigger. I built this brand to be a place where every woman, regardless of her race or background, can come and feel like she matters, like she's valued. And I've come to realize that some of our customers haven't been treated that way. Some have been made to feel like they don't belong here. The room was silent, the weight of her words sinking in. Monica could see the concern and empathy in the faces of her staff, particularly the women of color, who looked both relieved and apprehensive, as if they had been waiting for this moment. Heather's behavior toward our Black customers was unacceptable, Monica continued. I've seen it myself, and I've heard it from others, and I won't stand for it. That's why I've had to let her go. Racism, whether it's blatant or subtle, has no place in this store. Ever. Janice, who had been the first to raise concerns, gave Monica a small nod, her expression one of quiet support. Other employees exchanged glances, some appearing shocked by how serious the situation had become, others clearly agreeing with Monica's stance. I'm not just telling you this as your boss, Monica said, her voice softening. I'm telling you this as a Black woman who's been treated the way Heather treated our customers. I know how it feels to walk into a store and be judged because of the color of your skin, to be dismissed or disrespected for no reason other than prejudice. And I refuse to allow that kind of behavior to exist under my roof. One of the newer employees, a young white woman named Claire, raised her hand nervously. Monica, I had no idea this was happening. I'm so sorry. Is there something we can do, as a team, to make sure this doesn't happen again? Monica appreciated Claire's sincerity and saw it as an opportunity to shift from this painful moment to one of growth. Thank you for asking that, Claire. Yes, there is. We're going to have mandatory diversity and sensitivity training for everyone, myself included. We need to make sure we're not just saying we're inclusive, but that we're living those values every day, in every interaction with our customers and each other. There was a murmur of agreement from the team, and Monica could see that the message was sinking in, but she wasn't done yet. I also want to encourage all of you to speak up if you see something that doesn't sit right with you. If you notice a colleague treating someone unfairly, or if a customer tells you they've been mistreated, come to me or one of the managers. We have to be accountable to each other if we're going to keep this space safe and welcoming. Monica felt a sense of pride as she saw her team nodding in agreement, some even looking visibly relieved. She knew this was only the beginning of the healing process, but she felt confident that they were moving in the right direction. Once the meeting was over, Janice lingered behind as the others left. She approached Monica, her expression gentle but serious. Thank you for doing that, Monica. I know it couldn't have been easy, but it was the right thing to do. Monica gave a small, tired smile. It wasn't easy at all, Janice, but I couldn't let it continue. This store, this brand, it means too much to me, and to so many other women. "I know it does," Janice said softly, "and that's why it's going to be okay. You've built something real here, something that stands for something important, and people will see that, even after all of this." Monica nodded, feeling the weight of Janice's words. There was still work to be done, both in healing the wounds Heather had caused and in making sure such behavior never happened again. But as she stood there, looking around at the store she had built from the ground up, she knew she had made the right choice. The path forward wouldn't be easy, but it would be worth it. She would continue to fight for the values she believed in, no matter what. As Janice left the office, Monica allowed herself a moment of reflection. Heather's actions had exposed an uncomfortable truth, but it had also given Monica the chance to reaffirm what her brand stood for. And in that reaffirmation, she found her strength again. After the team meeting, Monica returned to her office, where the weight of what had just unfolded hit her fully. She knew the confrontation with Heather was necessary, but it left her with a lingering heaviness. Firing someone, especially for reasons tied to racism, was never easy. But now, the question remained, how would she address the broader damage that had been done? Heather's behavior hadn't just affected the team. It had impacted customers, potentially tarnishing the reputation Monica had worked so hard to build. Monica opened her laptop and began sorting through the customer feedback that had come in over the past few weeks. While many comments were positive, the ones about Heather's behavior stood out, like red flags she could no longer ignore. Several customers had noted feeling uncomfortable with how they were treated, with one particular email catching her eye. The email was from a regular customer, a Black woman named Denise, who had been loyal to Monica Lux since its opening. Denise had written, "Monica, I love your store and your products, but I need to tell you that during my last few visits, I felt something was off. I've always been treated with such care here, but recently, there's been one employee who makes me feel less than welcome. I didn't want to make this a bigger deal than it needs to be, but I thought you should know. I hope it's nothing, but if it continues, I'm not sure I'll feel comfortable coming back." Monica's heart sank. Denise was exactly the kind of customer her brand had been built for, someone who found value and belonging at Monica Lux, only to have that trust shaken by Heather's actions. Monica knew it wasn't enough to just fire Heather. She had to take concrete steps to ensure this never happened again and to rebuild the trust she feared had been broken. Monica decided to reach out to Denise personally. She crafted a thoughtful email, expressing her deepest apologies for what had happened and explaining that the situation had been addressed directly. "Dear Denise, I want to thank you for reaching out and for being a loyal customer of Monica Lux. Your feedback is incredibly important to me, and I'm truly sorry for the experience you described. I've taken immediate action, and the employee in question is no longer part of our team. This kind of behavior goes against everything I stand for, and I want to assure you that we are taking steps to ensure every customer feels respected and valued. Your trust means the world to me, and I hope you'll give us another chance to make it right." After hitting send, Monica felt a small sense of relief, but she knew this was just the beginning of a larger effort. She couldn't allow Heather's behavior to define Monica Lux. The company had been built on values of inclusivity, and Monica needed to be proactive in restoring that message, not just with words, but with meaningful action. The next step was to address her wider customer base. Monica crafted a statement for the store's website and social media platforms. In the post, she acknowledged the situation candidly, but without exposing every detail. Transparency was important, but so was maintaining professionalism. At Monica Lux, our mission has always been to create a space where every woman feels beautiful, valued, and respected. Recently, we were made aware of actions that do not reflect our core values. We want to assure you that we have taken immediate steps to address the issue, and we are committed to making sure Monica Lux remains a welcoming and inclusive environment for all. We will be implementing additional training for our staff to ensure that our standards of excellence are upheld, and we thank you for your continued trust and support. The response was swift and mostly positive. Loyal customers like Denise appreciated the transparency, while newer customers expressed gratitude that Monica was addressing the issue head-on. But Monica knew that words alone weren't enough. She had to follow through with real changes within her company. Over the following weeks, Monica implemented a diversity and sensitivity training program for all her employees. She brought in experts to lead workshops on unconscious bias, customer service, and the importance of creating a genuinely inclusive space. These sessions weren't just lectures. They involved role-playing exercises, open discussions, and reflections on how each employee could contribute to a better environment for all customers. Janice and other senior staff members played active roles in these workshops, helping to reinforce the message that racism, even in its most subtle forms, had no place at Monica Lux. The training sessions were challenging at times. Some employees struggled to confront their own biases, but they were also transformative. Monica could see a shift in the team, a deeper understanding of what was at stake, and a renewed commitment to the brand's core values. As the weeks passed, Monica continued to keep a close eye on the store's atmosphere. The customer feedback began to shift back toward the positive. Longtime clients, like Denise, returned with renewed confidence, commenting on the improved energy and attentiveness they felt from the staff. One day, as Monica walked through the store, she saw Denise browsing through the new collection of foundations. Monica approached her cautiously, not wanting to intrude but feeling a need to connect. "Denise," she said softly, "I'm so glad to see you back." Denise looked up and smiled warmly. "Thank you, Monica. I wasn't sure at first, but I can feel the difference. I appreciate how you handled everything." Monica nodded, feeling a swell of pride mixed with gratitude. "We've made some changes," she said, "and I want you to know that your experience here will always matter to me." Denise's smile grew wider. "That's why I'm still here." As Monica walked away, she felt a sense of closure beginning to form. The road to repairing the trust of her customers wasn't over, but she had taken the right steps. Heather's actions had threatened to unravel everything Monica had worked for, but with diligence, transparency, and a renewed commitment to her values, Monica was able to steer her brand back on course. Monica knew this wouldn't be the last challenge she would face as a business owner, but this experience had reaffirmed something important. The values of inclusivity, diversity, and respect weren't just slogans. They were the foundation of Monica Lux, and she would protect them fiercely. The day after Heather's dismissal, the atmosphere in Monica Lux felt different, lighter, yet more reflective. Word of the firing had spread quickly among the staff, and while most employees understood the reasoning, some were still processing the gravity of the situation. Monica had made it clear that this was more than just firing a problematic employee. It was about protecting the heart and soul of the company she had built. But there was still work to be done, and Monica was committed to reinforcing the core values that made her brand stand out. The decision to fire Heather had not been made lightly. Monica understood the implications, not just for Heather, but for her entire staff. Firing someone for discriminatory behavior would send a clear message. Racism, in any form, would not be tolerated. However, it was equally important that Monica ensure this decision served as a learning moment for the entire team, not just a punishment for one individual. This situation could either divide or unite them, and Monica was determined to use it to strengthen the company's culture. The following Monday, Monica gathered her employees for a more intimate meeting. The tension was palpable. Many of the employees who had witnessed Heather's behavior firsthand felt relieved by her departure, but there were also those who struggled with the idea that something so ugly had happened within their workplace. Monica stood at the front of the room, sensing the need to clear the air once and for all. "I know the last few days have been difficult," she began, her voice calm but firm. "Heather's actions don't just reflect poorly on her, they reflect on all of us. And as the leader of this company, I take responsibility for what happened here. I didn't see the signs early enough, and for that, I'm truly sorry." She paused, giving her team a moment to absorb her words. The room was quiet, but attentive. Monica continued, "Heather was not a reflection of what Monica Lux stands for. Our brand is built on inclusivity, empowerment, and the belief that every woman, no matter who she is or where she comes from, deserves to feel beautiful and respected. Those values aren't just words on a wall or in a mission statement. They're the foundation of everything we do here." As she spoke, Monica made eye contact with her employees, from Janice, who had been her right hand through the entire ordeal, to the younger staff members who were still finding their place within the company. She could see the mixture of emotions in their faces: relief, understanding, and even some uncertainty. But that was normal. They were all processing what had happened. Moving forward, Monica said, I want to make sure that every person who walks through those doors feels the values we claim to represent. That means not just being kind and respectful on the surface, but really taking the time to understand who our customers are and what they need. I've already begun implementing diversity and inclusivity training, but it can't stop there. It's up to each of us to make sure we're creating the environment that reflects who we are. There was a slight shift in the room, a subtle nod from several employees, and Monica could feel a collective understanding beginning to form. This was more than just a business lesson. It was a personal one. The impact of Heather's actions had shaken the foundation of their work environment, but it was also an opportunity to rebuild it stronger than before. One of the newer employees, Jasmine, raised her hand. Monica, she began hesitantly, I just want to say thank you for how you handled all of this. I was worried at first when I noticed how Heather treated some of the customers, but I didn't know how to speak up. I didn't think I had the right to. But after seeing how you've addressed it, I feel more confident now. I feel like this is a place where my voice matters. Monica smiled softly, feeling both touched and proud. Thank you, Jasmine. Your voice does matter. Every single one of you matters. And that's why it's so important that we hold each other accountable. This isn't just about what happens in front of customers. It's about creating a workplace where every one of you feels supported and valued. The atmosphere in the room began to lighten. There were still challenges ahead, but Monica could see that the team was starting to heal. They understood the importance of what had happened, and they were ready to move forward together, stronger and more united. As the meeting ended and the employees filtered out, Janice stayed behind, lingering at the door. She approached Monica, her eyes soft but determined. You handled that well, Monica, she said. I think the team really needed to hear it. Monica nodded, the weight of the past few days still lingering, but she felt a sense of accomplishment. Thanks, Janice. It's been tough, but I couldn't let it go unchecked. Heather had to go, but we had to learn from it too. You did the right thing, Janice reassured her, and I think the team will come out stronger because of it. Monica sighed, feeling both exhausted and hopeful. I hope so. This brand means everything to me, Janice. Not just because it's my business, but because it stands for something bigger. It's about giving women a place where they feel seen, where they belong. And I won't let anyone take that away. Not Heather, not anyone. Janice smiled warmly, placing a reassuring hand on Monica's shoulder. We're with you, Monica. We've always been. As Janice left the office, Monica allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. Heather's behavior had been a painful reminder of the challenges that still existed, even in spaces built with the best of intentions. But Monica had faced the issue head-on, taken responsibility, and used it as an opportunity to reinforce the values that defined her brand. Looking out at the store, where customers browsed and employees worked with renewed energy, Monica felt a deep sense of pride. Monica Luxe wasn't just a store, it was a community. A place where women of all backgrounds could come together, feel beautiful, and most importantly, feel respected. And as long as Monica was at the helm, that would never change. With her team united and her values reaffirmed, Monica felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The road had been rough, but she had navigated it with integrity, and that was what mattered most. In the weeks following Heather's departure and the team's renewed commitment to the brand's values, Monica found herself reflecting on the journey that had brought her here. Sitting in her office one evening after closing, she looked around the room at the framed photographs and accolades that adorned the walls, reminders of the hard work and passion that had gone into building Monica Luxe. Yet, this recent challenge had been unlike any she had faced before. It wasn't just about numbers or products. It was about the very soul of her business. Monica leaned back in her chair, her mind wandering back to the early days when she had first dreamed of creating her own beauty brand. As a young Black woman, she had spent years feeling unseen in the beauty industry, searching for products that catered to her skin tone and needs. She remembered the frustration of walking into stores where she wasn't greeted, where her presence was ignored, and where the shelves lacked products for women like her. Those experiences had fueled her desire to create something different, something inclusive. Monica Luxe had always been more than just a store. It was a reflection of her values, her community, and the women who had been overlooked for far too long. And now, In the wake of Heather's betrayal, that vision had been tested in ways Monica never anticipated. The events with Heather had made Monica more aware than ever of how fragile trust could be. Even one employee with harmful attitudes could erode the sense of belonging she had worked so hard to cultivate. But it had also reminded her of why she had started Monica Lux in the first place, to create a space where women of all colors, shapes, and backgrounds felt welcomed, appreciated, and, above all, empowered. As she sat there, Monica pulled out her notebook, the same one she had used when she first began drafting her business plan years ago. Flipping through the pages, she found the notes she had written about her company's mission. The words were simple, but they carried so much weight. Monica Lux is a place where every woman is celebrated. Our products are designed for all skin tones, and our mission is to make every customer feel beautiful, valued, and respected. This is a space for everyone. The core of that mission hadn't changed. Monica had always been driven by the idea that beauty wasn't just about physical appearance. It was about how a woman felt in her own skin, how she was treated by those around her, and how she was empowered to express herself authentically. Heather's actions had threatened that mission, but Monica had confronted the issue head-on, determined to protect what she had built. In the quiet of the store, Monica made a vow to herself. This wouldn't just be a one-time effort to fix a single problem. It would be the start of a deeper, more deliberate commitment to ensuring that every part of Monica Lux, from the products on the shelves to the people who worked there, reflected the values she held dear. The diversity and inclusion training she had implemented would be ongoing, not just a reaction to what had happened. She wanted her team to fully understand the impact of their actions and attitudes, not just in the store, but in their everyday lives. Monica planned to expand the training to include workshops on cultural competency and anti-racism, ensuring that every employee had the tools to foster an inclusive environment, not just for their customers, but for one another. Monica also decided to involve the community more deeply. She began reaching out to local organizations that supported women of color and underserved communities, offering partnerships and hosting events that aligned with her brand's mission. Monica Lux would not just be a place to buy makeup. It would be a place where women could gather, share their stories, and feel empowered in a space that celebrated them. The next step was to expand her outreach to customers who might have been affected by Heather's behavior. Monica crafted a personalized letter that would be sent to her entire mailing list, but particularly to the customers who had raised concerns. In it, she offered her heartfelt apologies for any negative experiences they may have had and reassured them that the company had taken corrective actions. She also invited them to participate in upcoming events and initiatives focused on celebrating diversity and empowerment. Monica wrote, "Dear valued customer, I want to take this moment to personally thank you for your continued support of Monica Lux. Recently, we encountered an issue within our team that goes against the values of inclusion and respect that this brand was built upon. I deeply regret any negative experiences you may have had, and I want to assure you that we are taking every step necessary to ensure that Monica Lux remains a place where every woman feels beautiful, seen, and valued. As part of our ongoing commitment to inclusivity, we are implementing new training for all employees and partnering with local organizations that align with our mission of empowerment for all women. I invite you to join us at our upcoming events and to continue being part of the Monica Lux family. Thank you for your trust and for allowing us the opportunity to make it right. With gratitude, Monica Williams, founder and CEO." As Monica signed the letter, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. This experience had reminded her of the importance of vigilance in protecting the values she had worked so hard to establish. It had also shown her the power of accountability and growth, not just for her team, but for herself as a leader. Looking around the store, Monica smiled. She could feel the shift. The energy in Monica Lux was changing, not just because of the actions she had taken, but because of the way her team had come together, stronger and more unified. Customers were returning, and there was a palpable sense of trust being rebuilt. It wasn't just about selling products anymore. It was about being part of something bigger, a movement toward inclusivity, empowerment, and respect for all women. Monica stood up, gazing out the window at the busy city streets. She knew the road ahead would have its challenges, but she also knew that she was ready for whatever came next. Monica Lux was more than just her business. It was her legacy. and she would continue to protect and nurture it with everything she had. With a deep breath, Monica turned off the lights and locked up for the night. Tomorrow was a new day, and she was ready to keep building the future she had always envisioned. One where every woman who walked through her doors felt not only beautiful but deeply valued. Leave your like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and watch this next story. It's really emotional.